You're scrolling through real estate listings late at night, and every house that looks even remotely livable is priced at $500,000. The kitchen still has outdated laminate countertops, the carpet is a lifeless beige, the basement, faux wood paneling straight from 2004, and somehow the listing agent calls it a starter home. Meanwhile, you're staring at your salary, doing mental math, and wondering if you missed a huge promotion or if the housing market has completely lost its mind. Spoiler alert, it's not you, it's the math, and the math is brutal. My name is Jack, and today we're going to do what most real estate agents don't want you to do. We're going to calculate who can actually afford a $500,000 house in 2026. Not who the bank will approve, but who can realistically buy one without turning life into a financial nightmare. Because there's a big difference between getting a mortgage and actually living without stress after signing the papers. Let's dive into the uncomfortable truth. In many U.S. cities right now, $500,000 isn't a luxury, it's the starting line. That's not a sprawling estate with a chef's kitchen. It's a 1,200 square foot home with 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and a yard barely big enough to host a picnic. Places like Portland, Charlotte, or any city within commuting distance of a major hub expect people to scrape together $500,000 for this standard starter home. Now, consider this. The median household income in the United States hovers around $84,000. That means people earning a normal salary are being asked to afford houses that cost roughly 6 times their annual income. 6 times! If that ratio seems insane, congratulations, you're paying attention. But everyone keeps telling you it's doable. Banks approve you. Real estate agents encourage it. Your parents did it on far less. TikTok influencers are flipping houses with 0 money down. Sounds promising, right? Not quite. Here's the truth. The system is built to sell you a house, not financial safety. Let's start with the down payment. Historically, 20% was standard. On a $500,000 house, that's $100,000. Think about that. The median savings account in the U.S. sits at about $8,000. You're not short, you're almost $92,000 short. And if you try to save 10% of your $84,000 income each year, about $8,400, it will take over a decade just to reach the down payment. That's assuming house prices stay the same, which they absolutely won't. Many people skip the 20% and go with 5% or 10% down, and that triggers a new expense, PMI, private mortgage insurance, which runs $200 to $400 monthly. You're paying for insurance that protects the bank, not you. You're penalized for not being wealthy enough up front, and that's before you even touch the mortgage. Let's run the numbers on a $500,000 house with 10% down. That leaves a $450,000 loan. With interest rates in the 6 to 7% range, the monthly mortgage payment lands around $2,750 to $2,850. That's just principal and interest. Next, add property taxes, anywhere from $4,000 to $8,000 annually, which is roughly $500 a month. Homeowner's insurance, another $250 to $350, depending on your area and exposure to natural disasters. Then there's maintenance. The rule of thumb is 1% of the home value per year. On a $500,000 home, that's $5,000 annually, or $417 a month. Add PMI, and the total monthly cost jumps to about $4,367. This figure doesn't account for unexpected repairs, a broken water heater, a leaking roof, or a new HVAC unit. These costs can throw any budget off balance quickly. Financial advisors recommend keeping housing costs below 28% of gross income. Banks are more lenient at 43% debt to income. To safely cover $4,367 a month without stress, you need roughly $150,000 to $187,000 in annual income. Only 10 to 20% of households hit that level. That means the majority of Americans can't comfortably afford this home, even if a bank will approve it. The numbers don't lie. The math is brutal. Yet we normalize it. People stretch their budgets to the breaking point because society tells them they should. The housing market doesn't care about your financial well-being. Agents, lenders, and banks profit when you buy, not when you survive comfortably. And once you've signed, walking away is nearly impossible without losing everything. Meet a fictional household, the Millers, two professionals earning a combined $160,000 annually. By all accounts, they should be comfortable. Gross income sounds impressive until taxes, FICA, and retirement contributions reduce their take-home pay to around $9,500 per month. They buy a $500,000 house with 10% down. Their monthly housing costs hit $4,367. That leaves $5,133 for all other expenses. 2 car payments, $800. Car insurance for 2 cars, $250. Gas for commuting, $300. Student loans, $600. Health insurance premiums, $400. Groceries for a family, $800. Utilities, $450. After all these essentials, they're left with $1,533 for clothing, entertainment, emergencies, and savings. Unexpected events compound the stress. A water heater breaks, a car needs new brakes, or a medical emergency arises. Every dollar is already allocated to the mortgage. The Millers are technically homeowners, but financially they're trapped. This is not recklessness, it's the system at work. Even households well above median income face unsustainable pressure when buying a $500,000 home in today's market. Now, imagine a household making $120,000, $100,000, or the median $84,000. For them, a $500,000 home is no longer a stretch, it's impossible. Even with dual incomes, careful budgeting, and sacrifice, they can't safely cover the costs. Without massive external help or extreme financial risk, the dream of home ownership becomes a financial trap. Yet culture encourages them to buy. Renting is framed as throwing money away, while overextending for a mortgage is celebrated as a milestone. This normalization disguises financial precarity as adult responsibility. The math screams danger, but societal pressure whispers, just go for it, you'll figure it out. Some people ignore the warning signs. They stretch, hoping for raises, side hustles, or luck. They buy the house. Month 1, it's manageable. Month 4, the car needs $800 in repairs. Month 7, the AC fails. Month 9, a partner's hours are cut. The emergency fund never materialized. They are house poor. House poor means technically owning a home, while the bank effectively controls it. Unexpected costs become crises. Every decision is filtered through, can I still make the mortgage? They lose freedom, mental peace, and financial flexibility. They sacrifice investments, travel, hobbies, and savings, all while society applauds their perseverance. Here's the reality. For 70 to 80% of households, a $500,000 home is not affordable. This isn't about personal failure. It's about a market disconnected from income. Home prices have grown faster than wages for decades. A starter home for previous generations is now a luxury for most Americans. The practical takeaway is run the real numbers. Factor in taxes, insurance, maintenance, PMI, and potential emergencies. Compare that to your actual take-home pay and obligations. If the math doesn't work, don't buy. There's no prize for overextending. Renting and investing the difference, buying a smaller home, or choosing a different market can build real wealth without stress. Home ownership only builds wealth if it doesn't consume your financial life. True financial security comes from margin, flexibility, and the ability to invest consistently. Sleep, mental health, and emergency readiness are more valuable than a Pinterest-ready kitchen. Banks, agents, and influencers profit when you buy. Your financial freedom isn't their priority. Make decisions based on math, reality, and sustainability, not social pressure. Those two things are completely different things. What a bank considers safe to lend and what actually lets you live without constant financial panic are not the same equation. Maybe in a few years your salary doubles. Maybe the housing market corrects and that same house drops to $380,000. Maybe you move to a city where $500,000 actually buys a proper home instead of a glorified shoebox with a mortgage. But right now, today, with current prices and current wages, this math just doesn't work for most households. Pretending otherwise doesn't make you optimistic. It makes you a future cautionary tale in someone else's YouTube video about stressed-out homeowners. So here's my advice. Stop obsessing over what the bank will let you borrow and start focusing on what you can truly afford without turning your life into a financial balancing act. Find the number where you can pay the mortgage, cover maintenance, build an emergency fund, invest for retirement, and still occasionally remember what it feels like not to worry about money. For most people,